All right, founders, it is time for another pitch deck critique and review. And this time we have another pre-seed deck. And this deck, from my understanding, raised $2.5 million pre-seed. And I am going to just say it upfront, spoiler alert, this deck is probably one of the worst decks that I have ever seen. It's not the worst, but it's probably shooting for the title. But here's the thing, you can't deny it raised $2.5 million. And more spoilers right now, A16Z is one of the investors. And I'm just thinking to myself, I have no idea why. Just goes to show that it doesn't always make sense from a pitch deck perspective. And clearly, A16Z saw something in this that I cannot see right now. I don't know if you're going to see it. I'm interested on what you think right away, if this is making any sense to you. But also, I don't think that they pitched this pitch deck. I probably am thinking that they gained the $2.5 million because of a demo or an inside connection. They pitched it verbally because this pitch deck is not good whatsoever. We're going to break it apart. I even had to go right to their website to try and figure out, and I still couldn't make sense of what is going on, but there must be something good going on here because they raised $2.5 million from A16Z. That is extremely difficult. Trust me, we know people who've gone and applied at A16Z. We know individuals connections inside A16Z. Their requirements are so high. It's the biggest game in town. And Andreessen Horowitz, you can't deny the success. It's like getting in a Y Combinator. The social proof is there. We need to break this down and figure out what the heck is going on. Before we continue, if we met before, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for coming by. Once again, use the chapter markers to skip right to the good part of the video. If you want your own pitch deck critiqued and reviewed, stay till the end of the video, and I will give you instructions, a few hoops for you to jump through. If we haven't met before, my name is Ed Kang, seven-time funded founder with 2 exits. That's just a fancy way of saying I failed a bunch of times to your benefit because I use YouTube videos like this and my channel to try and help early stage founders avoid some of the catastrophic mistakes that I've made, especially when raising early stage funding, pre-seed, seed funding. Not to say you're not going to make mistakes, but I try to make your life a little bit easier because it's tough enough as it is. I'm also Chief Strategy Officer for Startups.com. I help founders every day, hundreds of founders every single month. We have raised over $750 million for startups that have gone on and raised an additional billions of dollars. I personally raised $100 million for my startups, other startups as well as startup funds. So not my first rodeo, and that's what we want to do. We want to share that knowledge with you. If you're already part of Startups.com, thank you so much for being part of the community and joining me here. If not, go check out the website. A lot of free resources there. And while you're all here, do the YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe. Enough with the introductions. Let's jump into this confounding and confusing pitch deck. This is a short pitch deck, which I'm going to give that kudos. We need to go through every single slide with a fine-tooth comb because we're missing information. Because when I did the initial scan, it made no sense to me. So I'm going to take you through this journey. Let's do it together, shall we? Once again, this has nothing to do with the quality of the founder team. I'm sure they're excellent. If they have A16Z on their cap table, I'm sure they're going to do great and wonderful things. This has to do with the quality of the pitch deck. So no founder should ever take it personally because we can always improve on what our pitch deck does. Changing how the next generation will consume and pay for online content. I have a direction. We're dealing with online content. We're also dealing with consumers, the next generation, a little hyperbolic, but that's okay. Tian offers businesses the commercial infrastructure that drives millions of users to their service, increase customer spend and engagement. We got a promise. It's a little hyperbolic, buzzy. I don't know what it means, but at least we got a benefit saying, all right, we're getting users to the service, customer spend and engagement. That's the 3 trifectas. So I'm expecting that if I'm a business and I want lots of people to come to my content-based business, you're going to help me increase customer spending and engagement. First slide, I'm guessing this is the problem slide. Modern consumers don't want to create a new account, save their credit card, and commit to a monthly subscription anymore. For what exactly? I don't know. This is such a vague statement, but we're going to keep going. There is a shift in consumer habits. Okay, we're talking about consumers. People crave convenience and flexibility and are willing to pay top dollar for it. Or what? I do not understand. If you didn't tell me this was content in the beginning, then that is not going to make any sense. But even if I say it's about content, how does this mean I'm shifting my consumer habits for content? I crave convenience in my content. As far as I'm concerned, content is already convenient. Flexibility, I'm willing to pay top dollar for content. No, I'm not. I don't pay top dollar for any type of content whatsoever because content is totally free. This makes no sense. It's such a confusing statement right now. but we're trying to establish that something's going on with the modern consumers, more hyperbolic, buzzy, hypey, jargony statements. And you're like talking to the customer, not the investor. Maybe that's what this pitch deck is. It's a pitch to customers, not investors. And that's what A16Z really liked. I don't know. Lots of question marks. I cannot draw enough question marks around this. And I'm starting to experience that cognitive friction. And you don't want the investors to experience that. Now it looks like another problem slide on a regular online platform that offers paid content. Okay, at least I know what we're dealing with. Back to content, so we can skip the first slide. Let's just completely take the first slide out of canon here. We're saying that for a regular online platform that offers paid content, 1% subscribe, 99% leave without buying. Main cause for low conversion. You haven't correlated the two together. This is not the cause of conversion, people leaving. Explain it to me. I don't understand what is causing people to leave, but at least we know this is a pain point that websites are experiencing. We're moving in the right direction. 70% churn within 3 to 6 months. Main cause for low retention. Those two statements don't match. But if you told me that in all the websites around the world that have content, 99% of their visitors leave without subscribing, and when they do subscribe, 70% churn within 3 to 6 months, that could go into your problem statement. All right, at least I know that there's a pain point. First-party data, forced account creation as initial hurdle. I have no idea what that means. That means nothing. Exploitation, binge and cancel after free trial account. That could maybe be the problem, is that most people churn because they are binging. Okay. And then subscription fatigue. I totally agree. Are we leaving because of subscription fatigue? I don't know. We've got all these bullet points and we don't have a cohesive sentence up at the top. Everyone, you can put your one stark sentence at the top and just say, content sites lose $1.6 billion a year because their visitors, 99% of them, leave without subscribing. And when they do subscribe, they churn within 3 to 6 months because they have exploited all the content, used it all up, or they have subscription fatigue. That's all you had to say. We could have skipped all the fancy stuff ahead of time and just gotten straight to the goods here. Lack of personalization, content is not tailored and engaging enough. Just say content sucks or content's not being delivered in a way that people want to pay for. This is a problem I can't understand. Now, I am really stretching and pushing this a little bit because I'm digging through this to find the pony. Let me explain that story. You ever hear that joke where a father takes his son and takes him to a room and says, I have a surprise for you. And the room is completely filled with horse manure, like horse crap, like halfway up to the walls. And the kid looks at it and says, wow, Dad, thanks so much. And he goes and dives headfirst into that room full of horse manure. And the father's just watching and thinking to himself, what is my son doing? He's having a mental breakdown. What is wrong with you, kid? And the father interrupts the child. Let me digress with this joke here. There is a point. The father says, son, what are you doing? You're getting yourself all sick and dirty. You're covered with horse poop. And the son says, Dad, with all this horse manure in this room, there has to be a pony in here somewhere. That's the optimism of a child. And that is literally what I'm doing. I'm thinking to myself, A16Z, $2.5 million. These founders must be absolute geniuses. And I am diving into this pitch deck to find the pony inside. Let's keep looking. And you tell me if you see the pony. I think this is the solution slide. Create better onboarding payment experience for younger audience. That's so vague. I don't understand. What are we talking about here? Are we talking about 16 and under, 18 and under? 35 and under is considered young by some people, while driving more traffic to a business website, increasing consumer conversion and retention. It's a lot of promises, but for the solution, I don't know what the solution is. I see the promise, but I have no idea. What is it? Is it a set of tools? Okay, it's saying across industries. Is it an AI? Is it some type of super intelligence? We're talking about online media, conferences, concerts, streaming. Now you've widened everything. This horizontal industry spectrum is so wide that I am starting to not believe this is even possible. You just said content businesses. Online media, conferences, are these content businesses? Concerts? I guess you're creating content. Streaming? Yeah, that might be content. This slide tells me nothing. I don't know what you're building. Is this on blockchain? Is this a personal app? What is it? And therefore, this slide is completely extraneous Doesn't have any value to your pitch whatsoever. This, I think, is a solution slide. Might be getting better. At least there's a summary sentence up top. So that's what we're always looking for, everyone. We allow consumers to connect their mobile wallet. All right. Is your solution a mobile wallet then? What wallet are we using? Have you given me the wallet? This is what I'm asking myself. With an application in one click to identify themselves and pay for the time they consume a service. Hold on a second. I thought we were talking about content. So is this a service? A service for what? What is the exact service that we're talking about? And are we saying that they pay for the time? So this is content or time. So if I spend 10 minutes reading something, I pay, let's say $10 versus if I just paid for it once and I could watch till the total end, or I could read it as many times as I want. I've got so many questions and it's not answering anything whatsoever. The online wallet. So I'm looking and I'm seeing there's Visa, PayPal. Is this like an app to help me just pay for stuff on the fly? How's it more convenient? It says here, no registration, no passwords. All right. No monthly commitments. Okay. Higher security. These are the benefits. I still don't know what it is. Higher conversion, capturing first party data, low code integration. So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. First, is it service or is this content? Or is this content as a service? Do I turn all my content into the type of service that people can pay for? I have no idea what's going on, but hey, maybe there is still a pony to be found. Let's continue. Businesses manage it all in one central place. Manage what? In all central place? I don't get it. Is this a how it works slide? Fine. There's a toolkit manager for what? Analytics. Okay. I sort of understand. User management, pricing, payments, money withdrawals. So this is a paywall gateway to content. I don't know if it's a service or not, but we're saying that every company that has content, we can manage or drive traffic to it and let people pay for it using your wallet. Remember, there's a lot of competition out there. If you're telling me we have a new way, charge for content and set it up, get in line with the dozens of other startups that have done that. Let's just think about Patreon. Patreon is a great example of something that promises all this stuff. Content, you can dribble it out in drip campaigns. You can get people to pay for it on a monthly basis for a subscription. You can even get people to pay for it one time. So is this all time-based? If it is time-based, then why is that a benefit to content companies? Maybe just for streaming content? Is this like a Netflix thing where if I'm watching a video, I only pay for how much of the show I watched? Is that more valuable and more convenient? Is that the premium prices that younger generation are willing to pay? Can I charge for my YouTube videos every minute that you watch them? Let's say I charge you a penny. I don't know what's going on here. I'm still so confused. Let's keep going. Our founding team has a very complementary skill set. So we've got the CEO and we've got education. Education really doesn't matter. Background, business development, product. Where there's no social proof, we have a software engineer and we've got sales and growth. This group of people tell me absolutely nothing. On a founding team slide, you want to have way more information than you have here, but there's a reason this next slide happens. In the last 18 months, we built the foundation. Okay, so let's say there's speed going on here. Been live for 12 months with 99 historical uptime. That means nothing. I'm taking that for granted. Clients, 50 clients. Great. So you've integrated these partners and you're in these markets. Who are these clients? But now we've got investors, and really this is social proof. You got BWC, Founderful, and A16Z right there. And then you got an advisory network, Go Cardless, people here. Really doesn't matter to me, but this is what caught my attention right there. I'm not too sure BWC or Founderful. I'm not as familiar, but this is the big name, big kahuna that you're going to get a good idea that there's something good going on here. Now let's extrapolate the path to success, because even though on the previous slide, there was absolutely no information about the founders, this pitch deck wouldn't get anywhere past my initial scrub. Really, I'd probably done with this pitch deck literally in the first two slides. I wouldn't even get to the team slide if I was scrubbing for this for my fund or as a general partner or an associate or a scout for another investment committee. And I can pretty much guarantee you, if I put this up to other investors, they would be like, what the heck is this? But if I started off saying, hey, I want to show you a pitch deck, and A16Z has already invested in them and they've already raised $2.5 million, believe me, I'd get attention. because I know for a fact that A16Z, these VCs, do so much due diligence interviewing the founders. These founders must be incredible. And it's another example, like my last pitch deck, which I'm going to put on the screen that you can watch. The last pitch deck that I reviewed had such an amazing team, all MIT. I thought it was going to be a unicorn startup because of how much I believed in the founders. They've already built unicorns. You know that there. I don't know if this is the case in this instance, but I'm trusting A16Z, which shows you that there are signals from other investors that if you can get a lead investor, other investors want to come on board, because in startup land, investors are notoriously shy. They don't want to go first, but they definitely don't want to go last. But investors at A16Z and other funds understand the upside of going first when nobody else believes them. They just look and they say, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work, but I love the founders and I'm pretty sure they can figure it out. It's the same reason that Y Combinator wrote that first check to Airbnb. They said, we don't get what this startup is all about, but there's something about these founders. I believe they'll figure it out. Y Combinator continues to do that, founder after founder, saying you can pivot during the batch. They don't care because they trust you as a founder. And believing this founder team has the goods, or it's the biggest scam in the world, I don't think A16Z would fall for that. So that's what you can take away from this deck, is that we've got the social proof, and most likely A16Z started investing. I would go to all my other investors and say, we can add on, jump on with the A16Z bandwagon. We've got the goods. Doesn't matter how crappy our pitch deck is. And let's be honest, this pitch deck is crappy, but to convince A16Z, yes, A16Z only invests in future unicorns. And that's how you know this startup is going to be worth it. You probably want to watch for it and continue to check it out. We'll see. They've either pivoted or they're going to go unicorn all the way, or at least they're going to have a healthy startup, because A16Z always backs startups that have the highest potential of being winners. The next generation wants more flexibility. Let's give it to them. And then we've got a website. That's the last slide. I think that the investment slide has been taken out, and that's okay. We'll let that pass. But this is such a sparse pitch deck. I like that it was brief, but there was no substance inside of it. It was a really tough one. But A16Z, everyone, and that's really all you need to know. Something magical happened for them to go get that investment. If that is indeed what happened, I can't go out and verify. I'm not going to go pick up the phone and I'm going to call them directly. But it is nice to understand for the rest of us normies out there how a deck like this or a startup like this could potentially go and get that type of funding at a pre-seed stage. A16Z isn't going to just let a pitch deck like this float out there with a logo on it. So I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and believe this to be true. And like I said, we can all learn from it together. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, if you want your own pitch deck critiqued and reviewed, leave a comment. I need you to tell me what you are building in your comment, and I will respond and send you instructions on how to get your deck to me. And you're going to jump through a bunch of hoops to get there. Why? Because I want to make sure that we're doing pitch deck reviews that are beneficial and valuable to everyone. So if you do the same thing over and over again with the same lessons, then we're not all going to learn. So I'm going to push you to improve your deck as much as possible and then get it to me. And then I can give you more value as I do this review. And it's valuable for everybody else out there, our subscriber community, to learn from, because I'm doing this for absolutely free. That's the trade. That's the exchange of value that I want to have with you out there. In the meantime, everybody watch the other videos that I put on the screen. I got more pitch deck critiques and reviews. Thanks for hanging out with me on this one. I'll see you in the next video.